Hi, and welcome to the Grace Cycle Show. I'm your host, Karen Dittman, and our goal here is for you to stop trying harder in your relationship with God and find a different way to grow through His grace. In today's episode, we're going to talk about the last step of the grace cycle, the E, which is excitement. But before we get started today, I wonder, do you feel like life is like you're running on a hamster wheel and no matter what you do, it just won't stop? If so, then I'd like to invite you to take my quiz, How Fast is Your Hamster Wheel Spinning? It will only take you 50 seconds. It's at quiz.onefit-wellness.com, or you can click on the link in the show notes. And this quiz will help you see what's spinning your hamster wheel, how that's impacting you, and what you might be able to do to help slow it down. So today I'm going to wrap up talking about the actual steps of the grace cycle with the E. Now, just to recap, going back to the beginning, in the grace cycle, we start with the G. We get clear on what in our life, kind of a big picture area, needs to change. It might be an area of physical wellness or health. It might be an area of emotional or relational, mental habits. It could be something in your vocation, your work. It could be any of a number of things. But we always want to start by getting clear on just one area of life, not trying to change everything at once. Because by God's grace, we're going to step into partnering with Him in just one change at a time. Then, once we've gotten clear, we reconcile, the R, with the things in our lives that we can't control or we can't change. And often that's the past. Sadly, we can't go back and change the past. So we practice acceptance to get to a place of being reconciled with these are things in my life that I can't change. I can't change other people in my life. I can't change the past. But I can make a different choice from now on. From there, we act through just one simple change, just one simple step at a time. And I've said before, simple isn't always easy, but we just want to change one habit, one mindset pattern, one simple thing at a time. And again, you get to decide. And using your curiosity and your connection with God and yourself, then you're able to identify whether the one simple change you've started working on is really helping you, or maybe you need to shift to something else. But give it time, of course, to make sure that it really will be helpful before you go 2 days later, oh, that didn't work, I'm going to start over. It's not that we don't want to do hard things, because you can do hard things. But it's that we want to make sure that it is sustainable and it is actually going to help you move forward and make change, lasting change, in this big picture area where you want to see God work. C is community. It is so important for us to have support of others. We have to be in connection with other people who are cheering us on, who are, if it's something that resonates with you, holding you accountable. Not everybody resonates well with being held accountable, and that's okay. That's something to be aware of in yourself. But we want to have community support from people who will help us move forward, who will encourage us in whatever way makes sense to us. So that leads us to the last step, the E of the grace cycle, which is excitement. We need to celebrate our wins. We need to celebrate our progress. We need to get excited. Now, sometimes when we talk about this, we start talking about celebrate your wins, whether they're small or large. I've kind of moved away from that language of some wins are small and some wins are large, because the reality is a win is a win is a win. Progress is progress is progress. And it is so important not to judge whether it's a big win or a small win, not to worry whether it's a big step or a small step, but simply to become aware and celebrate and acknowledge all of those wins, all of those victories in our lives. This really matters because our temptation is so often in life to go, okay, check that off my list. I'm moving on to the next thing. Pause, celebrate, and get excited about the good things that you have accomplished and about the progress that you are making. Why? There's several reasons, but I'll hit three big ones. First is when we are excited and when we are celebrating, it releases dopamine in our brains. Everybody's talking about dopamine these days, but this is that feel-good neurotransmitter. This is the chemical, the neurotransmitter in our brain that helps us to feel happy. It helps me to feel good about myself. And when I'm doing something that then causes that dopamine release, then I want to keep doing it. So say I have decided for my one simple change, I'm going to spend 2 minutes every morning sitting in silence with God. Every day when I do that, I practice that. And it's important to say, I did it, to acknowledge it, not to say, okay, what's the next thing on my day? Okay, what am I going to do next in my time with God? No, I've got to say, this is something that's new for me. And I'm talking to myself right now because I've been kind of doing this, like, okay, move on to the next thing. I need to pause and say, I just did it. I just did something new and different. Good job, Karen. Thank you, God, for helping me. Because then I feel good about myself and it motivates me internally to continue doing this new thing, to continue working on changing in this area. The second thing is that when I've been working on something that's maybe more challenging, and anything new, we're going to have resistance inside. We're going to have that sense of, this is hard. Can I really do this? Do I really want to keep doing this? But again, when I pause and acknowledge and celebrate that I've just done something that was hard, then I'm telling myself, I can do hard things. And so I'll continue with this habit change. And the next one, I already know inside, I can do hard things. And finally, the grace cycle is all about working in partnership with God to experience change and to experience lasting transformation in our lives, to experience that growth in our relationship with Him and in our lives. So when I am partnering with God, when I am working together with God to see something in my life change, and then I see that shift and I celebrate it, I'm not just celebrating myself, I'm worshiping God. I am honoring Him for the work that He has done in my life. So celebrating my wins, it helps me feel good about myself and about my ability to change. It tells me that I can do hard things, and it is worship. It is worship and gratitude to God and honoring God. And I know that pleases Him. So you might be asking, what does this kind of excitement look like? How do I actually celebrate my wins? Depending on you, and you know I always preach this, what works for you might not be what works for somebody else, but what works for you. Here's some ideas. You could journal. You could write it down in your notebook. And I am a big proponent of journaling because it helps me to go back and see my progress. So you might journal about what you're seeing. You might take a minute every day just to write down all of the good things that you saw in your life, not just gratitudes, but all of the ways that you saw God work, all of the ways that you saw yourself show up in a new way. Another thing you can do is reach out to those support people. Reach out to your community who is cheering you on and share with them. I guarantee you, if they're supporting you, they want to hear about it and they want to celebrate with you. And again, that builds that community connection, that sense of love amongst one another. You can pray, you can talk to God and thank Him for the work that He's doing in your life. You could literally give yourself a pat on the back. You can do it alone where nobody else sees you. But just know, I did it. I did something today that I didn't think I could do before. Another thing you could do is you could write something down on a Post-it note, stick it up on your bathroom mirror, stick it on your laptop screen or the base of your laptop next to the keyboard where you'll see it every day, just to remind yourself, I did it. Even if all you do is write down, I did it, you'll know what you're talking about. So with all of that, what win can you get excited about today? What good things have you been seeing growing in your life? Name them. Write them down. Thank God and find somebody to share it with. Don't pass over this. This is a really important step in the grace cycle, and this is a step that will help you to continue forward in your growth, whether it is continuing to grow in this same area of your life, or you choose another step into a different area of your life. You will set yourself up to succeed by celebrating your wins, by practicing excitement. Once again, maybe all this sounds great, but you might be struggling to get clear or where to start because there's really a lot going on in your life and it's hard to sort through it. And that's why I created my quiz, How Fast is Your Hamster Wheel Spinning? You can find it at hamster.onefit-wellness.com. You can click on the link in the show notes. And just remember that this quiz and the results will help you to figure out your next steps to thrive by living in grace. So that's it for today. Would you take a second to subscribe to the show so that you'll be notified when the future episodes come out? And also, it would mean the world to me if you would rate or review the show. That way more people can find out about it. Until next time, get curious, stay connected, and live in grace.